Welcome back to the Business Book Club, where we take a deep dive into the frameworks that, well, really build great companies.
Yeah.
Today, we're unpacking a really influential book. It gives you the structure for turning those vague ideas into something customers genuinely want. It's Value Proposition Design, how to create products and services customers want. The power of this work, and it's by Alexander Osterwalder, Yves Pigneur, Patricia Papadakos, Gregory Bernarda, and Alan Smith. Quite a team. Is its visual systematic approach. It's practical.
It really is. And this framework is, I think, essential because it tackles head-on the huge waste of time and money that you see in so much innovation. The basic idea is pretty simple. Successful businesses, they're not built on what you think internally or endless slide decks, but on, relentlessly testing your ideas against what customers actually need. Just think about the usual frustrations, right? Teams feeling kind of overwhelmed, meeting after meeting where everyone's using different words for value. The authors have this brilliant term for it, blah, blah, blah conversations.
Yeah, I know those.
And, ultimately wasting piles of cash on big projects that just flop because the core idea never really tested.
Right. And that's kind of our mission today, isn't it? To give you the core tools, maybe the shortcut, to get that clarity, to get your team speaking the same language, and, crucially, minimize the risk of launching a dud by, mastering this design process. We're focusing on the structure, cutting out the fluff.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack it. The main tool, the heart of it, is the Value Proposition Canvas, the VPC.
And that's like a zoom-in lens for the bigger business model canvas, yeah. It takes those two huge blocks, customer segments and value propositions, and makes you scrutinize them.
Exactly right. The VPC is split, right down the middle, two halves. And they have to connect, they have to match up. That's what we call achieving fit. So on the right side, you've got the customer profile. That's the circle. This is all about understanding the customer. It's the side where you observe. Then on the left, you have the value map, the square. And this is where you map out how you plan to create value. That's the side where you design. And the key is you start by just observing. No designing yet, just understanding.
And getting that observation part right, that seems to be where so many companies stumble. They just assume they know what makes the customer tick instead of, really observing the jobs they're trying to get done. So let's get granular on that customer profile first, the circle.
Okay. The customer profile, it's built on three main things: jobs, pains, and gains. Customer jobs first. This is simply what the customer is trying to achieve in their work or life. But, and this is important, we need to look way beyond just the obvious tasks. So yeah, you start with functional jobs like mowing the lawn, writing a report, the basic task. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface.
Right. So it's not just what they're doing, but the why behind it, and maybe how they want to feel while they're doing it. That gets us into those deeper jobs, the ones we usually miss.
Precisely. Then you move into social jobs. This is all about perception. How do they want others to see them? Looking trendy, being seen as competent, gaining status. And then there are the personal or emotional jobs, seeking a particular feeling, right? Like peace of mind, feeling secure, maybe avoiding stress or anxiety. And here's the really crucial insight, I think. Those social and emotional jobs, they're often way more powerful in driving decisions than the basic functional task. We naturally focus on the functional bit, but the emotional context, that's often where the real value and the willingness to pay lies. Okay, so we're not just selling a powerful vacuum cleaner. We're actually selling the feeling of relief, the peace of mind when the house is spotless just before the in-laws arrive. That social pressure, that emotional need, that's the real job you're solving.
You got it. That's exactly it. Okay, next up. Customer pains. Pretty straightforward. Anything that annoys the customer, slows them down, or stops them from getting a job done right, these tend to fall into a few buckets. Undesired results or outcomes like a product being ugly or just not working well. Obstacles like not enough time, not enough money, or risks, maybe losing face, losing credibility, or even a security issue.
And the book is super clear on this. You can't just be vague here. You can't just scribble down, it's too slow or it costs too much. Absolutely not. Specificity is everything. Instead of a general pain like, wasting time in line, you have to make it concrete. Quantify it if you can. Wasting more than 5 minutes standing in line really frustrates me. That level of detail, that lets you design a very targeted, measurable pain reliever later on. Okay, and finally, the third pillar, customer gains. These are the outcomes, the benefits, the results customers are actually hoping for. And these vary a lot. You've got required gains. These are the absolute basics, the must-haves. A smartphone has to make a call, table stakes. Then expected gains. Things they sort of anticipate, even if they aren't strictly essential, like the phone should look nice, feel good in the hand.
And they get into the more exciting stuff, desired gains, the things they'd really love to have, maybe seamless integration across all their different devices, something like that. And the ultimate goal, I suppose, is hitting those unexpected gains.
Exactly. Those are the benefits they wouldn't even think to ask for, maybe because they didn't know it was even possible. The classic example everyone uses is the App Store before it launched. Nobody was out there saying, I wish I had a curated marketplace for third-party mobile applications. But once Apple delivered it, boom, it became almost essential.
So once you've mapped all this out, you've got this big detailed list of jobs, pains, gains. The really critical step isn't just filling the canvas, it's using it to focus,
Yeah.
right? You have to prioritize. If you don't rank them, you just end up with a messy brainstorm, not really a strategy.
Precisely. You absolutely must rank them. Which jobs matter most to the customer? Which pains are the most extreme, most unbearable? Which gains are truly essential versus just, nice extras? Your whole strategy, where you put your resources, it hinges on solving maybe the top 2 or 3 extreme pains, not trying to lightly address 20 minor annoyances.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And that focus leads us straight to the other side of the canvas, the value map, the square. This is your structured response to that prioritized customer profile.
Right. This side kicks off simply with your list of products and services. Just list what you offer: physical goods, software, services, financial products, whatever it is. But the real substance, the value creation part, happens in the next 2 blocks: pain relievers and game creators. Pain relievers describe specifically how your products or services tackle those ranked, extreme customer pains you identified earlier.
And this is where I've seen teams get tripped up. They confuse the product itself with the value it creates. It's a subtle but important distinction.
Oh, it happens all the time. The product is the tangible thing, the noun.
Yeah.
The pain reliever is the promise, the outcome, the verb phrase. So the product might be, say, a high-speed CNC machine, but the pain reliever is something like reduces your material defect rate to below 0.1% or guarantees 99% uptime, preventing those costly project delays. See? It's the characteristic or benefit of the product that explicitly links back to killing an extreme pain.
That clarity is vital. So pain relievers and game creators, which, similarly, explain how your product delivers desired outcomes and benefits, they must explicitly connect back to a ranked pain or gain on the customer side. If they don't clearly solve a high-priority pain or deliver a high-priority gain, then maybe they're just features adding complexity, not value. They're potentially waste.
Exactly. And that direct evidence-based connection, that's what leads us to the ultimate goal here: fit. Fit is when your value map, your proposed solution, perfectly aligns with the important ranked elements of the customer profile, their needs. And the book breaks down achieving fit into 3 distinct stages. It's a journey. First stage is problem-solution fit. This is basically theoretical. It exists on paper. You've done your research. You have some evidence that customers actually care about these jobs, pains, and gains you've identified. And you've designed a value proposition that, theoretically addresses them. But it's still just a hypothesis, untested in the real world.
Okay, makes sense. Then you move into the really hard part, stage 2,
Yeah.
product market fit.
Yeah, this is where the rubber meets the road. This happens in the market. It's often messy. You need real traction, hard evidence showing your value proposition actually creates value, and crucially, that customers are adopting it, buying it, using it. This is that long, iterative loop of testing, learning, tweaking. It's where most startups pivot or, frankly, fail.
It definitely feels like product market fit is the toughest hurdle to clear.
You'd think so, but the book argues there's one more crucial stage: business model fit. And this might be the silent killer.
Ah, right. The great product, but it's just an expensive hobby problem.
Exactly that. Business model fit means it works in the bank. Your validated, customer-loved value proposition has to be embeddable within a business model that is both profitable and scalable. Your revenues have to consistently outweigh your costs at scale. You can absolutely have a product people adore, but if the underlying economics don't work, the business will eventually sink. No margin, no mission.
And that medtech example that you used really drives this home, doesn't it? It's the same core diagnostic tech. But with one business model, just selling the device transactionally, it generates maybe $500,000 in profit.
Yeah.
Decent, but not game-changing.
Right. Whereas a slight shift in the model, using that exact same technology, but selling recurring consumable testing strips that people use regularly, suddenly, that yields $23 million in profit. The core tech, the product itself, is identical. But changing the model based on how customers actually use it and what they value, That's the difference between okay success and massive scale. It shows why you can't just look at the value proposition canvas in isolation. It's constantly interacting with the broader business model canvas.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what does it really mean for, that listener, the entrepreneur or the innovator trying to build something new or improve what they have? We've seen the power of this structured approach, the canvas, but how do you actually make that leap from just like planning on paper to actually learning dynamically in the market?
Yeah, the core actionable takeaway, I think, is a fundamental shift in mindset, away from static plans towards continuous learning. First, you actually have to implement the framework. Seriously, use the VPC, use the BMC, make them your team's shared language. If you find yourselves arguing about what a pain really is or what value means, stop the meeting. Pull out the Canvas definitions. Use that structure to kill those vague blah 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 conversations and replace them with concrete, testable hypotheses mapped onto the canvas.
It makes sense. Get everyone on the same page, literally. And
Second, and this is crucial, test relentlessly. Evidence beats opinion every single time, especially the CEO's opinion, sorry to say. The testing process isn't random. It starts by identifying your riskiest assumptions, your idea killers. What must be true for this whole thing to work? Test those critical hypotheses first and do it cheaply and quickly.
yeah, don't spend 6 months and $1 million building the full product before you even know if anyone cares at the basic premise.
Exactly. And when it comes to testing, you need data on what people do, not just what they say in an interview or focus group. People are notoriously bad predictors of their own behavior.
So how do you get that real data cheaply?
Well, things like mock sales can be really powerful, even if they feel a bit scary. Seeing if someone will actually pull out their credit card for a product that doesn't even exist yet, like a pre-sale page, that's a strong signal of genuine interest. Or for B2B, you could use simple tools like ad tracking online or unique landing pages with links. Measure if target customers actually click on your proposed solution versus clicking on, say, a competitor's existing offer. These experiments force a real call to action.
And that Hilton example you mentioned earlier really highlights this kind of deep reframing, doesn't it? Hilti, the power tool company.
Yeah, they realized their construction manager customers, their biggest, most extreme job wasn't just drilling holes faster. It was actually getting the entire construction project finished on time to avoid these massive financial penalties for delays. That pain was far more significant.
Wow, okay. So Hilti basically figured out they weren't really just selling tools. They were selling project certainty, risk mitigation. That's a totally different value proposition.
Absolutely. And based on that insight, they pivoted. They moved from just selling tools, a one-off transaction, to offering this comprehensive fleet management service. It was a recurring revenue model, guaranteeing the right tools were on-site, maintained exactly when needed, minimizing that costly downtime risk. They solved a much deeper, more emotional and financially critical pain than just needing a faster drill.
That transformation really shows it, doesn't it? Designing something truly successful isn't some mysterious art form. It's actually a systematic process. It's about disciplined questioning, relentless testing, and validating every step of the way.
Yeah, stop trying to just sell the features, sell the shovel. Start figuring out how to sell the beautifully maintained yard, the solved problem, the desired outcome.
So this deep dive really hammers home that disciplined questioning and validation are absolutely key to building something people will actually value and pay for. If you want to keep exploring these foundational business insights and really master the tools that help build successful companies, then definitely make sure you subscribe to the Business Book Club. We'll be back next time with another deep dive.
Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.